keep your pinkies at 90 degrees.
Why are you saying that? You don't even have pinkies!
Were they trying to tell us something about Disney? Hi, I'm Kitty Monk. I'm here to talk to you about Star Versus, or more specifically, their scariest episode. It's a mouthful, so St. Olga's Reform School for Wayward Princesses.
Not St. Olga's Reform School for Wayward Princesses!
It was their first two-parter, and it still remains one of their best and one of my favorites. Despite being an out-there sugar-high show, Star Versus could pull out a scary moment every now and again. This was more common post-season 2, when the show began to flesh out its lore, especially with homicidal Mommy Solaria, i.e. Madam Monster Carver. You know, I can make a whole video on Solaria, and I might in the future. Anyhow, she and her campaign qualify as more realistically scary, since we know something like that can, and has, happened in real life. Albeit without magic. Star pre-stormed the castle could still be scary. Toffee took the cake, especially thanks to that sugary Bay Harbor butcher voice.
Sometimes your biggest threat is right under your nose.
Unity is a weird tribute to David Cronenberg. Maybe not on the level of Rick and Morty, but if you want a frightening 5 minutes, go watch. Honestly, I had the pick of the litter when it came to this show, so I chose St. Olga's. I know to some of you it doesn't count, but scary or not, I've been dying to get to it. Probably since that video I made on Luz's mom. If this video does well enough, I might get to Muberty, but for now, let's talk about St. Olga's. Like Adventure Time, Star Versus is known for their princesses, who are usually referred to by their titles. Princess Arms, Princess Ponyhead, Princess Spiderbite. Did it ever weird anybody out how Star was never called Princess Butterfly, or how Bonnie was never Bubblegum Princess or Candy Princess? Like most royalty, they place high expectations on their children to act like sophisticated, mature adults with zero personality. Of course, we know most teenagers, let alone most kids, don't act perfectly polite in public. Somehow, a reform school was created for them. Well, reform school might be the wrong phrase. Let's say upper class prison.
I'm headed to the slammer!
It's reform school, Cupcake, not jail. Although admittedly it is a lot like jail.
That's St. Olga's. And yes, we never learn how St. Olga's came about. To me, that just makes it scarier. Was it created for Eclipse's time? Or when Heinous came of age? Was it always like that? Is that why Shasta can't consult with her? We know before Heinous, things were run by a robot named St. Olga. Literally, they weren't trying to reference the saint. But we don't know who built her, who founded the school, and why. All we know is that it's existed for at least 300 years. For centuries, St. Olga's has become the dreaded for princesses who act out. And for all of season 1, it was built up. Mostly as a joke, but it was still there. Moon constantly hangs over Star's head. If she screws up on Earth, St. Olga will be her final destination. A lot of people thought we'd get an episode where Moon finally sends her. Thankfully that never happened, but Star would end up going to St. O's in a different way. That's where this episode comes in. We begin with Star singing happy birthday to her best friend, Ponyhead. Earlier in season 1, Ponyhead showed up at Star's doorstep, only for Marco to realize she's a bad influence.
Ponyhead, meet my best friend, Marco Diaz.
I hate your face, plus you're ugly.
Is that why they hired Jenny Slate? Turns out this was intentional, since her father had enough of her and was going to send her to St. O's. It's nice to see they tied what was a semi-questionable episode into the overarching plot.
Happy birthday on your birthday day!
You guys remember how bouncy season 1's animation was? Like rubber hose at times? For Ponyhead's birthday, Star has prepared some tasty cupcakes.
Ah! Oh my goodness! Thank you so much!
But Ponyhead is forced to respectfully refuse.
I mean, a princess such as myself could never indulge in such confections. But would you please donate them to the starving bartenders of Galafamore on my behalf?
Notice how scared she looks. This is important. Star talks about all the fun things they could have done if Pony wasn't in princess prison, and it gets her riled up.
I expressed my individuality and publicly showed an emotion. And that's my third strike. Oh no, please, no, they're sending me to the solitary confinement chamber!
I'm pretty sure this is how Disney trains their mascots. Upset that her friend got in trouble, Star convinces Marco to help her bust Ponyhead out. And Marco, ever the bona fide film fan, decides to accompany her.
Sorry. What's that under your rug?
I have no idea, but I do know one thing. Never, ever step on it.
Why is this never mentioned again? It appears like one more time, I think, in Baby, but they never say what it is. And what happens if you step on it? They end up at St. O's.
This isn't Ponyhead's cell.
Huh. I'm usually pretty accurate with these things.
Actually, that's a nice hint about later. We also see a lot of princesses arrive.
Ah yes, the newbies have arrived. Welcome to St. Olga's School for Wayward Princesses.
Gemini, you old so-and-so. You still have a heart. It sucks they didn't rebuild you. Realizing they need to wear costumes to blend in, they dress up, and we get the birth of Princess Marco.
Oh, you couldn't turn me into one of those guards with the cool masks?
I don't know. Pink is definitely your color.
I love Star with an eye patch. Can more characters wear them? They're one of my favorite attributes. The pair are able to sneak in, but first we get a commercial.
Don't allow your noble lineage to be thrown away. Here at the tried and trusted St. Olga's.
St. Olga's.
Have you ever seen the music video for Another Brick in the Wall? When those kids walk in single file into a meat grinder to show how society turns out blank slates? That's what it feels like.
That free-thinking one in a million brat will become a one of a million emotionless rubber stamp that your bloodline can count on.
This is probably what we thought the summer camp from the Owl House would be like. It's important to note how open St. Olga's is about how they suck out individuality. All Gemini's missing is a vacuum cleaner. So those parents are sending their kids to a school that brainwashes them. They probably assume it's a reform school at best. At worst, they either don't care or it's an open secret. Does Heinous herself go and convince them? I mean, she implied that was the case in her self-titled episode.
Now to get everyone checked in so we can start sucking the individuality out of you.
They probably think Gemini is just joking, but he is dead serious. Think of all the possible reasons you could have gotten sent there. What if you're more liberal than your parents? Or you don't want to marry some dude they chose for you? What if they just want to get rid of you? Heinous probably doesn't care why you're there. And if you want to add a real-world parallel, some schools like that existed, and continue to exist in some states. I guess the only reason Star didn't automatically get sent there was the whole point of her transfer was to learn magic. She likely wouldn't be permitted to use the wand, seeing how easy it'd be for her to break out.
No magic!
Maybe Moon's love for her was another reason, but this was back when Moon was a stuffy, boring mom. You know what always completes a darker and edgier episode? A Knight Templar.
Every one of you is here for a reason. Too wild. Too opinionated.
We finally get to Miss Heinous. She's the headmistress of St. Olga's, and she really does deliver.
So by the time I'm done with you, you'll all be fixed. Every last one of you.
Hell, we didn't know we were gonna get come season 3. I know I say this all the time, but I loved her design. I have a thing for old-fashioned dresses, and I don't care what anybody says. Heinous is a pretty name.
Too bubbly.
Whoa, lady, take it down a notch.
Whether you're from Pixtopia or Muty.
Okay, I have something to say. Considering how we later learn Heinous is a butterfly and has even more royal blood than Star, this seems less like a joke. Did Star do it out of fear, or was it Heinous unintentionally using her magic? You don't become the head of a school on politics alone. A proper jailer, Heinous has taken every precaution possible.
We have a Tramophidian crystal in Tower 3, so you might as well cough up the scissors you smuggled in. That concludes your orientation.
Lucky that orientation was like 30 seconds. Have you ever been to college? Orientation's like a whole day, sometimes a weekend. Be lucky Heinous didn't make you do icebreakers. I've talked a little bit about the episode itself. Now let's get to why I wanted to discuss it. When I talked about Lucy's mom, I pointed to the pilot. It's the episode most fans who consider her abusive say she's at her worst, because she sends her weird kid to what amounts to a goofball conversion camp. However, I disagreed immensely, in part because Lucy's antics are so out there that the authority figures are justified in trying something. I mean, she brought an explosive to school. She's lucky all she got was a slap on the wrist. And the pilot's preachiness did not help. St. Olga's is the pilot done right. What's one reason? They make the point the princesses going there are there for a reason.
All the kind of girls who get sent here, they could totally benefit from this.
And they don't try to hide behind a weirdos are great message. Muni is matriarchal. Those girls are likely inheriting a kingdom. Do you really want a spoiled brat leading you when there's a famine or a war? However, the punishments they use aren't right either. Sure, Ponyhead wasn't a nice person, and Smooshy tried to steal Star's face, but they don't deserve getting brainwashed for their troubles. What helps is Star Versus has a different tone compared to the Owl House. It's loud, vibrant, a total sparkler machine. They could get away with a more in-your-face message, especially with what's at stake.
All our life is just divine, and the world is full of glee.
Fun fact, that teacher is voiced by Jodie Benson, the voice of Ariel.
No. You're not leaving until you get this right.
Wait, so there's a bunch of birds they have in case this happens? Does the bird just sit there waiting to get eaten? That's a terrible existence.
And there's enough velvet on that bedspread for me to swim in!
Why is she dancing?
Look at the intricate floral ornamentation on that armoire! The rich mahogany of the canopy bed!
Oh no, you get a room to yourself, a full bed, and a fireplace. When I started dorming, I had to share a bathroom with a dozen other girls, and I had to shower with flip-flops on. We eventually get to Ponyhead.
Hey, it's us. Here to break you out so we can party.
Oh no, they got her.
My deepest apologies, but I must abstain, as partying is for the unrefined.
That's not the Ponyhead I know and love.
Oh my gosh, she's apologizing like she's holding a Theosaurus.
Such language belongs in the gutters of Galaphamore.
Where's that? I don't think it was ever mentioned after this point. Is that where Steph's hiding? They tried to escape at Ponyhead, only to come upon...
Keep your pinkies at 90 degrees. More tea, please. Keep your pinkies at 90 degrees. More tea, please.
Is that what you do in hell? What if somebody deviates? Do they just get taken away? And FYI, most modern tea etiquette says you're supposed to hold the glass with your thumb and index finger, never your pinky. Sorry, it's a pet peeve I have with cartoons. Star and Margot convince the princesses to rebel.
It's not criminal to be an individual!
It's not criminal to be an individual.
Like I said, Star is already out there, and it's a show about nonconformity. And sell or not, it is pretty funny. Eventually, Star realizes they're breaking through to the real Ponyhead.
Tee! He got scolded.
She's laughing at an authority figure. I think the real Ponyhead's still in there.
So that begs the question, is the brainwashing permanent? I mean, I doubt it is. But what if a princess goes there, gets brainwashed, and then gets it undone? Do the parents keep sending her there? I mean, were they going to send Ponyhead home because she's brainwashed now? Word gets back to Heinous there's an uprising.
An uprising? In my institution? Quell. Is that right? Someone get a thesaurus!
Yeah, I think that's right.
I'm glad we stifled the uprising. You know, stifle isn't working for me either.
Well, you're right. But as a writer, I 100% relate. The trio end up in a basement, still being chased by... Where did she get a dog? Marco tries to fit down the laundry chute, but gets hoisted by his own petard.
My poofy dress won't fit!
First Moon and now him.
A princess who misbehaves will be saved in the solitary confinement chamber.
In hindsight, I think this was a hint. We get to the solitary confinement chamber.
The proper hat for the event, lest you be a malcontent.
Oh no, rhyming, Clockwork Orange style? How did word not get out about this? Are the parents that serious? And what if she found out Marco was a boy? Was she just gonna steal his life force?
'Tis better to be fussy than to be called a hussy.
How did that get past the censors on Disney? Speaking of Disney, I think they were a big reason this episode got made. One of their staples is the princesses. I think they all have their own varying personalities, and in many cases, they make for great role models. Except Ariel. I like the movie, but she gave up her whole life for a dude she knew for 5 minutes. As Star Versus is owned by Disney, I think it's their way of making fun of the trend, especially in the wake of Elsa and Anna. Star believes the real Ponyhead is gone, and takes her frustrations out on a poster. But somehow this breaks through to the real Ponyhead, who comes back to life and destroys that horrible hairdo.
Oh yeah! That feels so good! Wow!
Upon seeing a butterfly, Heinous' cheeks...
Go away!
Your cheeks!
No, stop it! You saw nothing!
To think we didn't know what was going on back then. Thanks to Star and Marco, the princesses decide to stage a full rebellion. Realizing they can take it louder and prouder, they bust out, destroy the crystal, and fight the guards. Wait a minute.
You know that old rhyme, dear. Boys do not make passes at girls with devil tails.
With St. Olga's toppled, the princesses throw a huge party, and Ponyhead decides to stay behind. Not so fast. So Heinous finds a stray bobby pin and realizes it belongs to one princess in particular, and that was St. Olga's. No, I'm not saying the whole thing. Maybe in comparison to what we got from Star, it wasn't as scary, but to me, it was a sign the show found its footing. Before St. O's, Star just felt like your typical cartoon. Maybe there was a fun episode here and there, but for the most part, it felt like a chore getting through season 1. I know when we got Toffee, the show would have big plans, but even President Kennedy couldn't help me. When this episode aired, it felt like they found what they were doing. Besides, all the fridge horror makes for a great video.